Hi folks, you're with Tacitus Today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the International Court of Justice in The Hague and, more importantly, various articles and editorials and opinion editorials and so on that I've seen online and on online magazines and so on, where they talk about this court and saying that it's just not right. There's majority men there and majority straight white men. This apparently is terrible. Now, the organisations that are clamouring for fewer straight white men are all globalist funded or part of the globalist cabal. So this is very much a globalist thing where they want straight white men removed from pretty much all courts of law, whether it be the US Supreme Court, the district courts, appeal courts, and so on. And they want them replaced with activists. So it's anything except a straight white male. Now the articles, the various articles, sort of have a common theme to them. They assert that straight white men, judges, this is in court, tend to have this reliance on the facts and the evidence. They'll interpret the written word of the law in relation to the facts and the evidence that's brought before the court. So now this is a whole concept of how law was structured. It's meant to be utterly impartial and away from political interference as much as human beings ever can do this. Away from political interference and ideological interference and so on, and to rely on the facts. And this is that the innocent should go free, and also the view that it's better that a guilty man goes free than an innocent man gets sent to prison. So the structure of the law, in its intent, was that to prevent innocent people going to prison. Now, the arbitrary law, before there was common law and independent courts and rules of evidence and separation of powers, all that sort of stuff, before that, the courts were just a will of, or at the arbitrary control of the state. So if the state didn't care about the case, then they probably would, the facts probably would determine the outcome. But if the state did care about the case, then they would make sure they got the verdict they wanted, and it would be turned into kangaroo court, a politicised kangaroo court. Now, it doesn't matter whether politicization is power dynamics or ideological. It makes no difference. But what it means is that the facts of the case don't matter, and the outcome is predetermined. Or you look at it, it's a court of attainder, where again, it's a predetermined outcome, and where the accused isn't allowed to bring witnesses to their defense and so on. And we have the divorce courts are effectively courts of attainder in that sense, that the judge can arbitrarily deny fathers and husbands no, I'm not going to hear your witnesses, no, don't care, and can say that an allegation against the father is fact, but then won't allow him to call witnesses, or the husband won't allow him to call witnesses in his defence. So that's a court. That's a court of attainder, which is in fact an ideological and or politicised court. But straight white men have this terrible, annoying habit, as the globalists would see it, of deciding cases on the facts. Now, the International Court of Justice has a reputation for being quite activist. So to assert that court is riddled with evil straight white males is a bit of a stretch, really. But the arguments that they put forward, these editorials put forward, to say, well, the court can't be just because there's not enough women on it. There should be more women. Why aren't women 50% of the judges? Why not? Why not? Because the outcomes aren't equal. There must be something wrong. Not only is it misogyny and racism, but it's quite possibly fascism. In fact, Hitler was seen going out the back door there a day or two ago. So after they've done not enough women, then there's not enough black women. Then there's complaints there's not enough lesbians, and so on and so forth. And they're saying that there are special legal issues that are women's issues or minority issues that only minorities can understand. The same sort of rationale that's saying, well, only a black lesbian can play the part of a black lesbian in a movie and act, an acting role. and anyone else, it's a cultural appropriation. It's evil, it's bad, and so on. So they're fantasizing the same. For example, that where women get raped in wartime, that only women can understand the pain that women feel when they're raped in wartime, and thus only women judges should hear those cases. I would argue the opposite. You need people who are utterly impartial, who focus only on the evidence, only on the facts, in order to determine a legal verdict. But the activists argue in reverse. So no, only a woman can, and if it's black women in Africa, only black women judges can understand. So they see the cases. There's just too many cases that are decided on the facts, even though, again, the court is quite activist, in my view at least. There are too many cases decided on the facts, and it's straight white males with their straight white male legal training that tend to do this. So we want people, so these articles argue, we want people on the court, or people should be on the court, who do not rely on facts, who do not see facts as particularly relevant. Facts and evidence, just an optional extra you may or may not include, that you have to look at at each case ideologically and on the basis of restorative justice. So on this basis, they want the court. Now, again, if you look at the quotes they're getting from various experts, supposed alleged experts, they're not fucking experts, they're just activists. And you look at these quotes and you look at the assertions that are made, it's all from the globalist cabal. So the globalist cabal is saying, well, we don't have enough. We want verdicts in this court that suit the globalist agenda. Because there's too many straight white males relying on evidence, we don't get enough of the legal judgments. And this is very much part of the globalist shtick, to infiltrate and subvert and completely fuck up and destroy the whole basis of an independent, impartial legal system, and to stack it with activists and black lesbians and all that sort of stuff. There was recently in three Muslim activists who were making racist chants in Britain. They got no prison time, no fine, nothing. They were dragged into court, and the Islamic judges let them off free. Whereas, a white person, straight white male, doing the same thing, no, he is accountable for his actions. But if you're a minority, you're not accountable, and you're to be treated like a young child that has no account. They don't really know what they're doing. So this idea that the globalists love this type of justice because it means their biggest supporters, or the people they're using to destabilize Western society, are fully protected, whereas the people, white people that may oppose it, are being fully brutalized using the activist courts to go after them, activist prosecutors to go after them. Same as all the activist prosecutors are going after Trump. None of those cases have any validity in my view, and yet they're being paraded around as where all these black prosecutors that behave like little children playing doll's house, so that they've got no concept of accountability or anything like that. So this is the sort of people that they quote a number of women, supposed legal scholars, all of whom are NGO flunkies, to say there has to be more women, more brown women, more black women in the courts, and black homosexual men, and this sort of thing, and that the court should move away from facts and evidence and move into ideological restorative justice as the basis for determining the outcomes of cases. I think that would be a disaster. But it shows that the globalists, they haven't got full control of the Supreme Court in the United States. This absolutely enrages them, and the same in the International Court of Justice. Now, I think they get a lot of cases they want, outcomes they want, because the court is, in my view, pretty activist. But they don't get them. They want absolute 100% guaranteed outcomes for the globalist cause, and it's this that they're pursuing. If even one case gets decided against them, or there's any uncertainty about it, they're not prepared to. They refuse to deal with uncertainty. They must have 100% ironclad outcomes, and exactly in the way they want them. And to give you an idea just how far justice has gone down the greasy pole, I remember, many years ago when I had to give evidence in court as a witness, or I had to prepare legal documents and had to do some of the preliminary legal hearings myself in the court. The head lawyers or the senior legal guys sort of heading the team would say, now make sure Billy Bob, make sure you're wearing your best suit and shiny shoes, clean shaven, get your look like a model, upstanding, responsible, respectable citizen. That's the look you have to go into court with as a witness or whatever. So that was drilled into me. I remember the senior lawyer handling the case. So you're going to court dressed like that? And I said, yeah, what's wrong? He said, well, the color of your belt doesn't properly match your trousers. Like it was, say, dark grey trousers with a black belt or something. No, it doesn't match. Well, not good enough. And it was that, your tie, the end of your necktie doesn't touch the top of the belt. Hey, presentation, buddy. So that was how it was then, and I would have been in my 20s at the time. To now, where a lawyer that I was having a barbecue with, and this lawyer was telling me about his client, whoever he was representing. He told the guy, look, you need to turn up to court. You have to look like a victim. You cannot look like a responsible, upstanding citizen, because they will hate you for that, and they will give a verdict against you in these ideological courts. You have to turn up with old shoes. You have to turn up with jeans with holes in them. You've got to have a dusty baseball hat, 3 days unshaven, try and have no sleep the night before, so you got red eyes, and turn up looking some sad sack loser. You have that means you'll encourage compassion. He's not going to want to stick it up yet. And the lawyer was complaining. He said, but his client didn't take his advice, and he turned up in a sharp suit. But I want to look like an upstanding. I want to look like someone who's a responsible person that acts responsibly and behaves responsibly. And the lawyer was just put his head in his hands while he's telling you this. Why didn't his client just listen to his advice and turn up looking like a hobo? Because that would substantially increase his chances of winning, or at least not getting a negative verdict. Because he said that's how the courts work these days. You got to look like a no-hoper and a bum. If you look like you're a confident, self-assured, upstanding citizen, then as far as a lot of these activist judges are, or even juries for that matter, as far as they're concerned, that means you're a Nazi. It means you are personally Hitler if you turn up looking clean shaven and your hair cut. Whereas if you look like a hobo, no, let's not be too tough on him. So this is how far the legal system has slipped down the greasy pole. I was talking to a guy who's a chief justice for one of the regional courts, and I thought the guy was a nutcase actually, but I was speaking with him briefly, and he mentioned that we were talking on the issue of facts and evidence, and he sort of shrugged a bit. He said, really, unless the facts are 100% in one direction or another, he doesn't bother so much with them, and just looks at fairness. And he couldn't define what fairness was, and he quickly slipped into ideological speak of what fairness. Well, women have been oppressed for centuries, slavery, and so looking at this wider ideological restorative justice thing. But it shows how quickly it slips. As soon as you deviate from independent courts, facts, and evidence, as soon as you move one inch away from that, then the slippery slope to ideological and restorative and arbitrary, it just comes up quickly and looms large, and can overwhelm any court and any judge if they allow themselves to be taken down that path. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.